Welcome, everyone. I'm Susan Brady. With October upon us, I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about women's health issues. As you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And the current statistics predict that 1 out of 8 women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. And we know that early detection can save lives. Cancer that is detected at an early stage is more likely to be treated successfully. And this is why regular breast cancer screenings are so important. Now, the mammogram has always been the gold standard in screening for breast cancer. But there's also another type of screening tool that can be complementary to the mammogram, and that's called thermography. And thermography measures heat and inflammation in the breast tissue, which can be an early warning sign that breast cancer is forming. So I wanted to introduce you to thermography. And to do so, I have 2 colleagues of mine to join me and talk about the benefits of thermography. Dr. Alan Thompson, who is a chiropractor and owner of Neck, Back, and Beyond Wellness Center in Fairfax, Virginia, and his wife, Marianne Skippa, who is a breast cancer survivor. Thank you, Dr. Thompson and Marianne, for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Dr. Thompson, can you start by just briefly explaining what thermography is and how it differs from mammograms?
Sure, thank you. Thermography is a heat picture of the breast that's taken by an infrared camera. So it's about 5 feet away, and it can visualize how much heat is emanating from the surface of the skin. Thermography can penetrate about 5 millimeters. So it gives us a read of how much heat is being produced in the breast. And so that differs from mammograms, where mammogram is an anatomical test that's looking for a tumor or a mass of some sort. It uses X-rays, and I'm sure many of your listeners have done mammograms before. So they're not really equal tests. They look at different things. A thermogram is looking at heat produced, and the different causes of heat could be too much estrogen in the breast. Estrogen is an excitatory hormone, so it creates processes, and that will produce more heat. We also find that women with food allergies or sensitivities, or maybe a really poor diet, can create inflammation in the body, and especially in the breast. So that might be a factor. Stress, various types can do it also. So you have these different causes, and thermography gives us an opportunity early on to see that this person has too much heat. What can we do to change it, rather than let's wait and see what happens, come back in a year. Mm-hmm. So we take an active approach. We have different protocols to make changes and help people make changes in their lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing from you is that thermography enables you to detect these hot spots in the breast, and the heat in the breast may be an early warning sign that a breast cancer can be forming.
Right, and cancer, as we know, can produce heat. So if we look at cancer itself, we see that when cancer becomes 1 million cells, we can't see it. You can't see it on a mammogram, can't really feel it, but it can't also receive enough blood flow from surrounding tissue. That's how it grows early on. So it causes the body to produce blood vessels that go right to it, so it can get a blood supply and keep growing. Mm-hmm. So when it goes from 1 million cells to 1 billion cells, that's when it's about the size of a pea. And you could see it on a mammogram, you could feel it on a palpation. But the interesting thing is, from going from 1 million to 1 billion can take 5 years. So we want to intervene somewhere in that process, or maybe even earlier, to make lifestyle changes when the body has more of its strength. Cancer doesn't have a big foothold, and you can do something to strengthen it and improve the immune response.
Right. Ultimate prevention.
Yeah.
Marianne, as a breast cancer survivor, how do you use thermography to monitor the ongoing health of your breasts?
So I was fortunate early on to learn about thermography because there was my sister-in-law was doing it on the West Coast. There wasn't much going on here on the East Coast at the time. This was actually in the 1980s. Dating myself, I was very young. And I learned early on that this was a way for me to continually monitor what was happening. So I didn't end up in the situation that I ended up with in my early 30s. And what we found even early on is where I started to develop some heat in the breast area. We intervened with looking at my diet, and it turned out I had really major allergies to gluten and dairy. And there were other things I was doing in my life that were stressing me out. And so we made a big intervention there. And within a year, my thermography showed no more heat. So the heat that was so high, the previous year had disappeared after I'd made all these interventions, which was obviously a relief after the history that I had. And so it just became evident that for me, doing the thermography twice a year and a sonogram once a year is the best way for me to stay on top of things, because not one of these tests or assessment tools are enough. So
Right.
And it was also a evidence for us to see how we could make an intervention and bring heat down without, doing heroic intervention. It was just lifestyle changes. It was very reassuring and empowering that, hey, you can make changes in your life and make significant difference in your health that way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations. So your clinic hosts Thermography Days, correct? In October and March. Can you tell me when and where they are?
Yes, October 9th and 10th, we'll be doing a thermography clinic. We have a thermographer that comes and brings the camera. She's very knowledgeable and has been doing it for 20 years. So she'll set up her camera and we'll do it during the day, both those days.
Terrific. And if somebody someone in the Fairfax, Virginia area wants to learn more about it, just call your office.
Yeah, and actually we accept people from all over. We actually have folks who come into town especially for the clinic. So you don't have to be in Fairfax to join us.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate you being here. Great information on thermography.
Thank you, Susan, for all the great work you're doing.
Yeah,
Thank you. Research over the past 20 years has shown that early detection is the key to surviving breast cancer. However, prevention is ultimately the goal, and that is what will save lives and can also save our bones, because women who have had breast cancer treatment are also at an increased risk for osteoporosis and fractures. And thermography gives vital information that allows a woman the opportunity to reduce risk factors, make lifestyle changes, and monitor her breast health more closely in hopes of prevention. If you're interested in learning more about thermography, you can go to breastthermography.com. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful Wednesday and a very happy rest of your week.